Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Or testing, testing, 2-0 you Blues. I didn't do a live stream, by the way. I'm going to get into that when I start the video. Hello, Evertonians, beautiful, beautiful Evertonians. We've got Lewis in the chat already. We've got Ant in the chat already. I have to tell you right now, let's talk about the performance. We're going to talk about the performance. Ask me any questions that you want. I did not get to do a watch along today, and it was thoroughly disappointing. But also, it seems to be some type of poetic justice, because I had incidents happen very late in the morning. I had to wake up at 5:30 if I was going to get everything ready for the game, but there were certain situations, certain circumstances that occurred to where I basically got 2 hours of sleep before the game started. So I didn't get to do a watch along, and of course, everything gets changed around. Of course, it's a great game to watch. Of course, it's a great thing that everybody want to hear me commentate on and give my opinions on and all of that stuff. But wow, what a difference having a pair of balls from Marco Silva's point of view. What a difference it makes when you give players a chance. What a difference it makes when you've got somebody in the midfield that can move forward with the ball, that can hold the ball up, that has strength, that has determination, all those things. What a difference it makes when your right back is good defensively, but can bomb on, can make a pass, doesn't give the ball away, all of that stuff. So yeah, got up right before the game, obviously. And all right, let me know if you can hear me okay, guys. Just give me a thumbs up or just put something in the chat if you can hear me, because I'm not really seeing... Yeah, it is working, right? Yeah, okay. Anyways, so the thing was, as I've been saying, you've probably been saying, Callum, welcome. How you doing, my friend? Okay, I think that the tongue out face means that you can hear me. Okay, good. So, woke up. And I was saying before, I do not want to see the SNS, okay? I did not want... I mean, been crying out for changes to be made to the team because they had to be made. Things were not working. The midfield in the Premier League is one of the key factors in having a good transition, winning the ball back, holding the ball, all the different things. It all revolves around the midfield. You look at some of the the teams around the league. Or depending on their strategy, depending on the way they set up. But most teams, you can have a great forward line, you can have a rock solid defense, but if you don't have a midfield that has different qualities in all the players that you have in the midfield, you cannot win. So I'm not going to get too negative. All the things we saw, and I looked at the Twitter and I saw, bam, here was the lineup, right? Here was the lineup. Gomez is in there. Davis is in there. Schneiderlin is out. Yes, he was injured or he was a little bit sick, but to be honest with you, couldn't really care less about that. He needed to be dropped. Sigurdsson needed to be dropped. And then I was looking at the top and I was like, Walcott's playing. Oh, Richarlison. Oh, no, wait, Richarlison isn't injured. He's playing up top. So, so as I'm going through it, I'm usually like this, right? When I see the Everton lineup. But all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I see Tom Davis. Oh, Gomez is back. Oh, when Iwobi's in the number 10. Oh, and Richarlison's up top. And super, super ready to go for it. People, judge Walcott on, his crap finishing, his da-da-da-da-da. But, that he was the only real person that could play in that position. And so I looked at it and said, you know what, we're trying something. Sidibe's in for Coleman, we're going to see how he does today. Gomez is back, and that, the facial hair and the slick back hair, and I've just been missing, I've been missing a sight of Andre Gomez. Not only missing his great play, his hold-up play, his bursting the lines, his, control, his composure, but I've just been missing the man's hair, been missing the man's facial hair, been missing everything about Mr. Gomez, Senor Gomez, as I like to say. And we'll get to Mina's header. Don't worry, we're gonna get to a lot of things in here today. And then, so it's like, okay, Sidibe's in. We're gonna see what he can do. Davis is in. Finally, people have been crying out for Davis. What's he gonna do? Is he gonna be rusty? Is he gonna underperform? Is he gonna, Because I was kind of worried when I saw Marco Silva's press conference, because we didn't know that Schneiderlin was out when he gave the press conference on Friday. And I saw Tom Davis, but the way Marco was saying in the press conference, you could see his body language. Like, he was talking about the results, and he was talking about all this stuff. And then he talked about Davis. They asked him a direct question about, he plays, farther back in that position for the England under-21s. Can you see him playing? And he kind of went, oh. And I was like, oh, here comes a non-answer, right? He's going to start speaking. He's going to say, well, Tom's, doing well, and he's trying to break into things. He gave that, but it didn't seem, the body language and all that from Marco didn't seem like he was kind of pleased with the question, or if he was kind of tired of being asked the question, is Tom Davis going to play? Da-da-da-da-da. But then, like I said, saw the lineup, and that was basically the same lineup that I had, except, obviously, Richarlison over there, and I was going to play some Moise Kean up top. And, so the lineup was exciting. We came out, and holy shit, did we get on the front foot right away. And Bernard was back in the team. The thing you want to see was Bernard back in the team. And see, there is a reason that we want to see Bernard in the team. Yes, his final third decision making and all that. He doesn't look like he goes into some weird woo zone where he steps into the 18-yard box and kind of loses his battle and all that. But and then we come out on the front foot, and West Ham, wow, I mean, absolutely. I get to, but Tim EFC, if you were at the game, and I need to ask you this question, you can respond. Like 5 minutes in, the crowd was silent, right? Because the results that we've had, the way we've been playing, the Goodison crowd was really, really quiet and just waiting for something to happen. Were my ears deceiving me, or were the West Ham supporters saying your fans are shit? Or your supporters are shit, like right off the bat, because we weren't making any sound, we weren't doing anything. Your supporters are shit, and I was like, oh man, that's a little much, but probably right. But then it only took like 5-6 minutes, and we were getting in, and of course, most of the play was coming down the left-hand side, as it usually does when you've got Bernard and Luca Dean, because Luca Dean looked a completely different player when Bernard's playing. And then when Iwobi can drift out onto that left-hand side, like everything just looked great. We were trying different avenues of attack. We were going down the right side, we were going down the left side, we were playing it into the middle. And the biggest difference I noticed right away was we went into the middle. When the West Ham players gave it the banter. Oh, your support is fucking shit. Well, and they were singing it, right? And I was like, oh, God, well, but at the end of the game, we know what happened. But, yeah, so But the middle of the park, it was so key because every single time, and this was right off the bat, every time Tom Davis got on the ball, he was looking forward to make a forward pass. Gomez was always holding the ball, turning, moving, looking to play the ball forward. All three of our midfielders, including Iwobi, the two that we were playing, I guess it was still kind of like a 4-2-3-1, if you want to put it that way. But every time our two defensive midfielders got the ball, automatically looking forward, no dilly-dallying on the ball, no schneiding it left and right 5 yards, no safe play, because it wasn't a game for safe play, and we shouldn't have been playing any of the games that we've been playing with safe play, because the thing that we've seen right now is Davis could have been playing the past couple of games. He could have played versus Sheffield United. He could have played versus Bournemouth. He could have played versus Aston Villa. Yeah, the Sigurdsson goal was good. We'll give that. That's what Sigurdsson does for us. He scores great goals, and we'll get into the less positive things in a little bit. But yeah, Davis and Gomez, and then you feed the ball into Iwobi, and Iwobi's first thing to do is he'll turn and he'll run into the space. He'll move defenders around, so then Davis can pick up positions, Bernard can pick up positions, Walcott can get into positions. And the amount of times that we got in behind them on both the left hand side and on the right hand side, the amount of times that Richarlison was coming out of that centre forward position to pick up the ball and play it out to Bernard, to play it out to Walcott. Like, West Ham didn't know what fucking day it was. It's obviously the weekend. It's obviously a Saturday because you're playing a game, but they had no idea what game it was Declan Rice, I guess he's a good central defensive midfielder. Maybe he's worth 50 to 60 million, but him and Noble got absolutely off the park today. Gomez and Davis, just too much every single time, breaking up tackles, pressing. And that's the thing too about Richarlison up top with Walcott and Bernard and Iwobi. Our front forwards pressing on their ass all the time. The amount of times they had to hoof the ball out or try and play it quickly through the middle, but then they try and play it through the middle, and then Gomez is just in, and Davis is just in, and all that stuff. And then you got to the back, and Yerry Mina, boy, oh boy, that boy knows how to defend. I'll tell you that much. The amount of times that he was just in the perfect angle, cutting off the passing lanes, getting in front of his man, getting behind his man. Yerry Mina, and I have to say also that Keane had an absolutely standout game. If you actually go to like whoscored.com and you go to some stat sites, a lot of stat sites actually have Michael Keane around 7.8, 7.9 average. Most of them have Michael Keane as the man of the match based on statistics and, however they work those things out. So Keane had a great game. The only, blip for Michael Keane, I thought, was where Pickford was trying to ping a ball out to Sidibe, but Keane just decides to take it on his chest, goes back towards goal, but it all got sorted out. But no, everything about that game was good. We were looking for the fight, the desire, the determination. We were looking for Marco Silva to have a pair and make some changes. You had to make the change with Sidibe, and all that stuff, but everything seemed to go to plan. And we should have scored 4, 5, or 6 goals. Now let's get into that right away. We hit the bar. Well, no, Richarlison hit the post first of all, right? After a beautiful through ball. Later on in the game, Walcott hits the bar of that tremendous volley. Tom Davis should have scored at the back post early on in the game. Tom, I love you. I really do. You bring everything, but I think that might have been a case of being in like a DLC situation, or maybe with the same thing with what's his face, Alex Iwobi. Like, just hit it with the keeper, and that's been closer to the inside of the post for Tom Davis, or hit it back across goal. It's a goal. Same thing with Iwobi. Iwobi gets through, and this is what Iwobi did all day. He did it so well. Not only did he get the ball in great positions, but he had acres of space all the time because Bernard was a threat, because Walcott was a threat. Nobody knew where Richarlison was. Gomez was bursting forward. Davis was hanging out. Every time Iwobi got the ball, it wasn't like when Sigurdsson gets it, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, Sigurdsson's got the ball, and we've got our 3 forwards, but they're all marked up, and Sigurdsson has to play back, but the pace and the quickness and the speed of thought and the footballing IQ that Alex Iwobi showed today in that number 10 position was magnifique, if you don't mind me saying so. Just a completely different team. And I'll tell you what. This is in jest, okay? I'm joking, but I'm going to say this. Any young football player that needs to, they're going through a rough patch, or they're not quite performing, or they're doing something, go out there and have one of your mates ping a ball at your head so hard that you have to leave the pitch, go to the hospital, and spend some time recovering, because whatever that ball knocked loose in Theo Walcott's head, Holy guacamole on my tacos, everybody, because fuck. Theo Walcott looked like a completely new player. And Iwobi looked a bit off today. Come on. Come on. Are you compared to what Sigurdsson puts in that position? I'm not having that, Ant. I love you, baby, but no, 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 no. His finishing was a little off. I'll give it that. But Theo Walcott, wow. You know, yeah, he had a great volley. Did miss a couple of chances, but his running, his pace, his decision making, the ball in to Bernard for his goal. Let's talk about Bernard's goal, right? I mean, I don't know how it was at the ground. If you were actually there at the ground, Ant, you can tell me this one too. I couldn't hear it on the TV very well because I've also been watching. When I was watching the guys actually live stream. I'm watching the game on one stream, and on my other TV over here, I was actually listening to the Brexit debates that were going on today. So I definitely things going on my ears. But the ball goes into Bernard, and everyone, I'm thinking, hit that lad. You got to hit it first time. That's just my automatic reaction. Like if I'm playing PES or something, like you hit that right away, and then he turns back, away from goal, and I'm not sure. In my head, I just went, "Oh God, chance is gone." But I don't know if there was like a collective sigh or a collective groan that went on around the stadium when that happened. But because Bernard will tear you apart, tear you asshole open. Whoop, 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 whoop. And then it goes, and goalkeeper probably should have done better, but that's a nice acute angle. It's into the ground, it's along the floor. Bernard scores. You can see how much it means to him. Like, just automatically just grabbing the shirt. The passion's there, but, Bernard, should be playing week in, week out, bar injury, maybe bar fatigue or suspension. Bernard should be playing every single week. Like I said, him and Luca Digne look absolutely fabulous together when they're playing. And then you add Gomez into the equation, who's there. If they lose possession, Gomez will win the ball back and do all that stuff. Then you've got Iwobi that can interchange with Bernard. And Bernard can come in and play the number 10 role, because they did that for a little bit. And so everything just looked better, right? It looked like a completely different team. And, like I said, West Ham had nothing. I mean, we can go look at some stats. I mean, we got stats here. Possession, 52-48 for us. Not one of our typical games where, we had 60-40 because we had that like 5 out of, our first 8 games or whatever it was. 19 shots total to West Ham's 8, 10 shots on target. So more than 50% of our shots on target. That always tells you so. And it means we're being more creative, that we're, having different avenues of attack, going for chances from different positions on the pitch. Different players, lots of different opportunities. We had Mina with shots on target. We had Davis with an attempt on target. Iwobi, Richarlison, Walcott, Bernard. Sharing the love, sharing the wealth around the pitch is absolutely key to getting shots on target, getting lots more chances, and moving the defenders around and not giving them a moment's rest. And we didn't really give them a moment's rest from the word go, right? And then, so they had 8 shots. They had 4 on target. We actually had 4 of our shots that were blocked. We had the Davis one, we had the Iwobi one, and some headers from Yerry Mina. Passing, 73% pass percentage. Attacking in the final third, we had 12 key passes in that game. 12 key passes, and most of those came from Alex Iwobi, from Tom Davis, and from Theo Walcott. Okay. Clear-cut chances too, and this is one that you have to put on there too. Only 25% of our attacking play was from crosses this game. Huge difference compared to us just playing the ball around the back on the little circle that we always see. Schneiderlin passing it back, Coleman running up the pitch and turning around and playing it back. Like, no, it wasn't, and then just playing it out to Digne, to Bernard or Iwobi, and then crossing the ball in. Same thing with Richarlison when he plays on the right. Only 25% of our attacking in the final third was actually crosses. And that says a huge thing about what we can do. And you look at the result. If we have lost this game, right, and I've said this before, I've told you guys this before, if we play a formation like this, Gomez, Iwobi, Davis, you drop Sigurdsson, you drop Schneiderlin, you play Bernard, you play Walcott, if you play Richarlison on the right and then you have Dominic Calvert-Lewin or Moise Kean up top, you oh, the Gabon injury. Yeah, we'll get into that. And I lost my train of thought now. Sorry, what was I talking about? Oh, the crossing into the box. So, oh no, actually, I was talking about no. And so if we'd have played this formation and we'd have made all these changes and we'd have lost 3-0, 3-1 or something, and we just haven't been playing very well, and everyone had a bad game. Davis came in, actually stunk the joint out. Sidibe came in and was a liability at the back. Walcott came in and did what Walcott does 65, 70% of the time of his performances. Richarlison didn't perform up top. So if all those things would have gone wrong, we'd have lost the game, then we just put our hands up and said, we're fucked because we can't play a 4-3-2-1, 4-2-3-1 with, Schneidlin and Sigurdsson again. There's not enough creativity. We don't go from front to back very quickly. We don't press that high and all that stuff. And then we change the formation, change all the players, and we're still shit. Then we've got a problem. But there was nothing about today's game. We can nitpick stuff too. I've already seen people nitpicking, Iwobi's performance. Yes, we should have scored more goals. Yes, we should have scored more goals. Yes, we probably should have created more chances. Yes, we kind of let them in the back door a couple of times. Yes, we did leave it late to do it. We went 1-0 up, but we should have put the pressure on and been 2 or 3 up by at least halftime and then just been blowing them out. So we didn't really give ourselves a safety blanket. But at the end of the day, and the ref was a fucking joke. So, so let's talk about, the Mina goal. I've watched the Mina goal back a whole bunch. Okay. Literally what happens is Mina and Gomez are stood here. Okay, so this is Gomez and this is Mina. And what Mina does is he goes out and then, which finger is this? This one. Basically, Gomez stands there like this. He just stands there. He's watching the ball. He doesn't put his arms out, doesn't put his hands out, doesn't put them behind, doesn't hold anybody. Him and Mina comes around. Gomez stood still, not moving, not doing anything, just blocks off the defender. Mina comes around the corner, bam, get in, lad. And then it's called out for holding. There's no fucking way that is a hold. There's no way that's a foul. It's totally shocking. And what I don't understand is why, maybe, I guess it's in the rules. Maybe you can't look at that under VAR. Okay, maybe I understand, but why not? We've seen, it was like the goal or whatever it was versus, like when Palace, who did Palace beat? Palace beat West Ham, right? The last game they played. So why is it that the ball comes in, Ayew puts it in the back of the net, the flag's up for offside, but because the ball went in and the whistle wasn't blown, gets blown after the goal goes in, that gets reviewed. He wasn't offside, therefore the goal stands. So how's that any different when Gomez is stood there, Yerry Mina comes in, heads the ball in the back of the net. The ball's in the back of the net before the whistle's blown, and it's given a foul. How do you not go back and just take a look at that under VAR and say, okay, we made the wrong decision. The ball ended up in the back of the net, so we go back, you look at the screen and go, that's not a foul. Okay, fine, goal. So I guess I don't understand how VAR works. Yeah, it kind of does take the emotion out of the game, but I'm someone who likes to go through life being, how people say, being technically right is the best kind of right. Yes, it holds up the game. Yes, but there's the amount of times that people have been screwed over and teams have been shafted because of decisions that the referee can't catch. Then I'm fully into VAR at the end of the day. But yeah, so that was all that. But overall, great game. The one game I wish I could have live streamed, but circumstances arise to where that wasn't really possible. Well, I could have, but I just wasn't in the greatest mood. Lack of tiredness, lack of sleepiness. So I probably just been sat there like, oh yeah, Everton scored, but nobody wants to see that. Sidibe, I think Jibril Sidibe. I thought he was great. When I watched the Sheffield Wednesday game when he played in the cup, not only, yes, he played the ball forward and passed it to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, great chipped ball, but I think he just offers something that Seamus Coleman probably offered us 4 or 5 years ago. He has no problem coming out from the back. Like the amount of times that he'd get the ball, and it was almost like Kurt Zouma from last season. I don't know what it is about French defenders that like to do this, but as soon as he sees an inkling of space to run into, his legs are open and he's galloping with the ball, and Seamus will come up the pitch and just kind of amble up the pitch with it and maybe get 5-10 yards before the first man comes and engages him. Sidibe was almost at the halfway line literally every time, full head of steam, looking for players, playing the ball out to Richarlison, looking for balls through. The amount of times that him and Iwobi, pinged it into each other. Same thing, and that's the thing that a lot of people are saying that Iwobi didn't have a great game. Take the part out that he missed a sitter. We'll say it's a sitter because he was through on goal, only had to go to the side of the goalkeeper, hit it into the goalkeeper. But the amount of times that the amount of times that the balls were pinged in to Iwobi. Mina was pinging them into him. Digne was pinging them into him. Sidibe was pinging it into him. Davis was pinging it into him. The amount of times he just controlled it, got it out of his feet, and either played the ball back to that person with a nice 1-2, or looked up and played the ball to Bernard and to Walcott it was amazing. It was like everything was just stopping. And yes, Sigurdsson has great technical ability, but it just looks like Iwobi knows how to fit into the system better than what Sigurdsson does. He knows where Bernard is. He knows where Walcott is. He knows if Richarlison was still long or if he was coming short. Him and Davis were working well together. Him and Gomez were working well together. I thought the midfield won this game for us. And so everyone wants to say, who was my man of the match? Who do I think man of the match was? And yes, I've already said that my bias for Andre Gomez. I'm going to give it to Andre Gomez because, Bernard back in the team scores a goal, yes, but he's an offensive player who gets into good positions. And what he's been lacking has been, what he does in the 18-yard box or final third, if you want to say that. But today, yeah, he scored. But everything that ticked along in that midfield, in the engine room of that midfield, he made Declan Rice look like a Sunday League pub player. They made Mark Noble look like a fucking pub player. And I don't even know who their other player that they had in there was. I can't think of his name. He got subbed off after a while. He just had enough. That player got sent home. Really easy. But Gomez just, the control, the composure, not always playing the safe ball. That's not what Gomez does. And the amount of times he broke forward, got into the box when we were attacking in the final third. Sometimes playing easy balls out, but it makes it look so easy, so casual, so fluid, so sexy, all that stuff. So Andre Gomez for me was man of the match, just for the simple fact that I think he made the biggest difference to what we usually have in the team. Like, Delph's a great player, but Delph, Schneiderlin, Sigurdsson, slow, immobile, not that, but Gomez just put everything together, and he took the pressure off of what Tom Davis had to do. Davis was there, and I thought he did a great job breaking up play, getting a foot in when necessary, maybe not making a full tackle all the time, maybe not winning the ball back all the time, did our little Tom. But Gomez is like 26 or something like that, 25, 26 maybe. But yeah, so he kind of just took some of the pressure off of Tom, so Tom was able to do what he does. Because Tom, if you watch Tom Davis, you might not rate him, but his close control, how close the ball is to his feet when he has it, always looking for a forward pass. And yes, he does make some, try and thread the needle passes, looking for a pass that isn't always on and not coming through. But the amount of times that he got fouled, or like I said, he didn't win the ball back, but he nudged the player off, put him off balance, shut down the passing lane, and so that Gomez could come in behind and then take the ball. Tom wins the ball, Gomez does something with it. Because the amount of times that I watched the game today, when Gomez received the ball, for example, and if that was Schneiderlin, I knew where he was going to go. And because I thought we were going to be playing safe, and I don't know how I could confuse Gomez and Schneiderlin, but every time the ball was passed back to the central defensive midfielder, I thought, oh, here we go. So I'd look at the play, and how your brain works, you can see the field in a moment. I saw Gomez receive the ball. Okay, if this was Schneiderlin, he'd play the easy ball to the left and play it off to Davis, or he'd play it out to the wing. But no, he looked for Iwobi. The amount of times that the ball came to Iwobi in the center of the park. Oh, balance today. And SNO, I don't ever believe in changing a winning team. Let's say that right there. Let me say definites that should play next week. This man, Sidibe, has to play again. Coleman, I'm sorry, I loved you. You might be club captain, but Sidibe did nothing today that would cause him to be taken out of that team. I thought he was good defensively. I thought he was good offensively. I thought he did more than just run up and down the wing. He cut inside sometimes. He was always there and available. So Sidibe stays in the team. So who's back next week? If Delph and Schneider are back next week, Gomez has to definitely play next week. Iwobi has to definitely play next week and in that number 10 position. And I say play Tom Davis again. The only change I could see is, even though he maybe doesn't deserve it, maybe drop Walcott out the team, put Richarlison over there, and then put maybe Moise Kean maybe Moise Kean or maybe Dominic Calvert-Lewin, because Brighton's going to be a different situation to this West Ham. But again, Walcott, I think, had an outstanding game. It's really hard to say that. Theo Walcott had an outstanding game for Everton Football Club today for 90 minutes. I probably haven't said that for a while, not since he scored those 2 goals for us last season. Or was it the season before? I think it's 2 seasons ago now. Either way. But no, to be totally honest, barring injuries, barring all that, play them all again. No, you're right, Ant. I play Walcott again then. And then we'll see if it's just a thing that he was so happy to be in the starting lineup that if he was in a hospital and he was like, oh gosh, my footballing career could have been over. If that ball would have hit me any harder, I could have been concussed. I could have had a fractured skull. I could have had to be wearing a Petr Cech scrum cap for the rest of my days and not having my flashy big Frohawk thing going on. So maybe, like I said, maybe someone just got knocked loose. Maybe had a not a midlife crisis, but a pre-midlife crisis, and somebody spoke to him and and he just pulled his head out of his ass. Maybe that's what that did. Maybe that ball hitting him in the head actually knocked his head out of his ass, even though we didn't see it. But something got knocked from up here all the way through the diaphragm, the big intestines, the small intestines, all the way through it, just poop, left it out there against Man City, and now he's a good player. So yeah, keep exactly the same team. Do it, Marco. Because, let's get into Sigurdsson, right? We all know that Gylfi Sigurdsson is a good player. Okay, let's get that out right. He's a good technical player. He can pick a pass. He can do, same formation, same everything. Exactly the same way. Whoever does the Twitter for Everton on game day, it's really easy. You just change the substitutions around, and then you just change the game that we're playing. It's exactly the same team. Get it done. However, if you can tell me that if we'd have had exactly the same starting formation, but we didn't have Iwobi in the number 10 role, and we had Sigurdsson in the number 10 role, that we'd have been productive, that we'd have had as many chances created, that we'd have gone through the middle as much, we wouldn't have gone down the outside as much. If you're going to tell me that would have been the same result, the same fluidity and the same pace going front to back on the counter-attack with Sigurdsson in there as Iwobi in there, I'm not having it. I'm not having that one bit. Because Sigurdsson scores great goals, and he also scores penalties when he can be bothered to score those at all. But no, Alex Iwobi, I just think that this formation and the players around him and his speed and his strength just make him a better number 10 in this formation that high up the pitch than what Gylfi Sigurdsson brings to the table. What Gylfi Sigurdsson brings to the table is what he did. And correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't watched this back too much, but that was Jack Wilshere, who he absolutely slaughtered, right? I mean, I felt bad for James Maddison that one game against Leicester where he, gave him the shoulder and then spun around and scored. But, Jack Wilshere, your career at Arsenal is laden and heavy with injuries. You could never keep a spot in the team because of your inconsistency and all that. And then you went to West Ham. Same thing happened. Now you're riding the bench. And then you come on and say, I'm going to bring it, back into the game. I'm going to try and do something, try and pull some strings and pull something out of my ass. And oh, no, Gylfi did not allow you. The Iceman cometh. Okay, and usually I give the thing of Sigurdsson's like I call him Steamboat Siggy. His turning ability is just meh. But that time, you sent him to the store and forgot to give him money. Like, yeah. So that's what Sigurdsson does. But so I went into the Reddit because there's always going to be one person. Right? There's always going to be one person that they want to try and karma whore on Reddit, and they want to try and be noticed. So they say stuff like this: is the exact thing. Where are all the Siggy haters now, huh? Where you at? Where's the Siggy haters? It's like, I don't hate Gylfi Sigurdsson, However, what I will take an Alex Iwobi, because one moment of quality is less valuable to me than 90 minutes of consistency game after game after game. Yeah, I would say it's kind of easy for Sigurdsson to come on the pitch, and the defense has already been run ragged. There's going to be plenty of space to maneuver in. West Ham are going to be trying to push up the field like they were. There's plenty of space in the middle of the park once Gylfi Sigurdsson came on. If that had been 10 minutes into the game, that probably wouldn't have happened. He'd have been collapsed on and had the ball taken away and all those good things. So yeah, great goal, wonderful goal, magnificent goal. Maybe gets goal of the month. Maybe one of the goal of the season contenders. Who knows? But that's not enough for me to say that, oh, well, Sigurdsson should have played because he scored. That's not how it works. So, yeah, Sigurdsson came on. But, yeah, guess what? You're a super 40 million sub now until you can prove that you can play over 90 minutes. You can create chances like Iwobi was creating chances. That you can turn and run into space and, brush off a tackle and bring other people into play. That you can have the ball pinged into you really tight and then played back off. That you can interact with Davis and with Walcott and with Bernard and with Gomez. That you can play that way. Yeah, then we can bring Sigurdsson back in. Or if Iwobi starts having a stinker and doesn't perform very well. But as of right now, this is what I would do for the next game. Maybe like the only difference between I can maybe see him moving Richarlison up to the right and putting it Dominic Calvert-Lewin up top. But it was brought Brighton away, right? It's the next game, so who knows what we're going to be able to do. But we should go out there and we should win that game. And because we've got momentum on our side now, we should have it, because this is the perfect time. Marco's got a break, the players have got a break, the performance was outstanding, it was wonderful, it was great. Everything we could have asked for, everything I've been screaming for the past 4 or 5 games. Change the formation. Well, change the players, change the formation slightly, because it was almost a diamond in there, really. It wasn't really two defensive holding midfielders. It was kind of Davis back there doing that thing and then going. So you might want to say it was like kind of like a 3 up the middle. Or you can say it's a 4-1-4-1 if you want to put it that way. And SNO, I agree with you with the Moise Kean thing, but I don't think we're really in a position, or haven't been over the past couple of weeks, where you can throw Moise Kean in. And yes, you can give him a run of games. But what I do think, though, is that if we do move Richarlison out to the right, Walcott sadly goes to the bench, and we put Moise Kean, I think Iwobi can make more chances, and Moise Kean would play better with Iwobi sitting in behind him, with Bernard on his left and Richarlison on the right. I think Sigurdsson's a problem when it comes to Moise Kean and when it comes to Dominic Calvert-Lewin playing in the team. Like I said, it's not Gylfi Sigurdsson as a player that I disagree with. It's Gylfi Sigurdsson and the players around him, what the players around him need in order to play at their best. I don't think Gylfi Sigurdsson offers that at the end of the day. So we should give Kean a chance. I do agree with that. But I think he should be given the chance with Iwobi playing in behind, with Davis and Gomez playing, with Bernard and Richarlison playing around him. Because there's no problem with Richarlison cutting into the inside and Moise Kean going out to the right. Same thing with Bernard and Moise Kean, left to right and all that stuff. The fluidity has to be there. And I think that the whole fluidity thing hinges on Iwobi being able to change his position, being able to burst through the middle, to have the security blanket of Tom Davis being able to break up play, and then having Gomez being able to win the ball back also, but being able to protect the ball and not playing the simple slowing down the game pass that Schneiderlin and Delph like to play. So, would I sell Siggy? Yes, I would actually sell Sigurdsson. Give me 30 to 35 million for Gylfi Sigurdsson next summer. I'll take that. I really would, because it's one of those things with Ghana again, where you either have to give Sigurdsson a new contract, which he's getting up there in age, and there's other players out there. And if Iwobi keeps playing the way that he's playing, and obviously Bernard can play in that number 10 role too. So we're not devoid of options in the number 10 creative role, per se. So 30, 35 million. If Manchester United want to come in like the idiots they usually are when it comes to buying players, I'd sell Sigurdsson for 30, 35 million. I have no problem with that. Wouldn't do it in January though, obviously. But no, if we've got time to look for replacements, or say that if Marcel thinks that Moy was sent off today. Thanks, Tim. So yeah, that takes one of the players out of Brighton's midfield for next week. But I don't think it should be that difficult of a game. If we can go out there with the same intensity and ride our emotion again and play like we did. And the thing was the fast pace, the decision making, and the variety of attacking avenues that we had. That was absolutely key for me. Because usually you can sit there, I can sit there and I can replicate what Everton do when I'm playing my PES games, because I just say, the ball's past your Schneiderlin. Schneiderlin can only do certain things. Sigurdsson can only do certain things. They're very good at what they do. Don't get it wrong. I'm not saying that any of the players that play in our team are absolutely shocking and shit, okay? But when you look at, like I said, we look at the formation, you look at the play style, you look at what we're trying to do, some players just don't fit into that. And Sigurdsson and Schneiderlin are two of those players. Because the majority of the time, we're going to be playing teams that are going to play in the low block. West Ham didn't play in the low block, obviously, today. But if we're going to play against teams like Brighton next week, maybe, but they've been a little more offensive and a little more, like to play a little bit more football than what they've done recently. But no, if we go to Newcastle, if we go to, when we go to Sheffield United, when we go to certain teams that are going to sit back, Iwobi has to play against teams that are going to play in the low block, because we can't just keep going down the outside. Against Burnley, for example, Iwobi has to play in those types of games. Gomez has to be fit and available and ready to go for those types of games. It has to be fast, it has to be fluid, and it has to be direct. You know, we have to keep varying it. So yeah, so if we want to play two defensive midfielders against a Man City or against a Liverpool or something like that, I wouldn't have too much of an issue with it. I think we should go for it every single game. But sometimes, you know, you have to kind of have damage limitation. But for me, no. So Sigurdsson and Schneiderlin should be nowhere close to the first team unless somebody starts playing badly, if somebody gets injured, or somebody gets a suspension. That's what I'm going to say about that. We're doing this for 47 minutes now. Wow. Anybody else got any? Did I miss any questions? No. Do we keep that? So yeah, any more questions before I go and eat some a late lunch? Take a quick vape though. God damn it. Let's switch out of here. What am I eating? I have not decided what I'm eating yet, actually. Oh, by the way, if you are new and you're watching this and you're just looking in the comments, please please subscribe to the channel. It's 709 right now, so only 291 subscribers away from being able to... What is that? Why is the... Huh? What is that down? What's this down here? Did I just move out of the light or something? Anyways, I'm not sure. Got some roast beef I could be eating on. Also got some pork loin, green bean casserole, corn. It's just a whole bunch of leftovers from a buffet banquet. A catering service that my wife was involved in yesterday. And there's some other stuff in there, like cheesy hash brown potatoes too. But it's a victory day for Everton. So you know, my usually my go-to meal. I like a good burger. I really enjoy a juicy third pound or maybe half pound burger, but that'd put me right back to sleep and I have to go take a nap after that. But I really enjoy a good juicy burger after Everton victory. So obviously for the past 4 or 5 games, I've actually been eating lettuce and dried carrots and dried beetroots and prunes and cabbage with no salad dressing on it, because I just sit there and go, So I punish myself with my food based on Everton's performances. Player of the month, and I mean, what am I jumping around for? Player of the month. Yerry Mina. Yerry Mina has been player of the season so far. You know, yes, we've been letting goals in. Yeah, we haven't been performing on the offensive side mostly until this week. But no, Yerry Mina, for what was said about him at the start of the season, for what, you know, people were saying about him and Keane not being able to work together, I think his defensive positioning is good. You could see in the past couple of weeks that we're looking for him on corner kicks. He's got really close a couple of times. I think he's averaging like 2.5 shots on target with his head per game over the past couple of games. So yeah, Yerry Mina defensively, offensively, it's going to come off from at some point. He should have had a goal today. But yeah, Yerry Mina for this month so far. And that's it. But yeah, I am going to go eat, guys. I do appreciate you being here. And Tim, both Ants. We've got one Ant, NSNO, and one Ant. Everton is the best. Haven't seen Jeff Thompson in a while, but I know he usually works this type of time. So Jeff, if you watch this on the replay, I miss you, buddy. And yeah, I'll probably be back doing another video tomorrow. Leave a comment on this video if you want to see any the Mr. Archer Pez this week or tomorrow or maybe sometime later today. But appreciate you being here, guys. Blues, fabulous game plan today. Just what I was saying, just what you were saying. Players needed to come out. Players needed to come in. Style of play needed to change. Everything worked out. Clean sheet. 2-0 victory at Goodison Park. Come on, you Blues. And I'll see you all later.